You ready? You ready, Kelly?
Yep.
Good morning. Today is July 5th, 2023. The time is now 9 a.m. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners, and I will call this meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. If you do have your cell phones, please silence them at this time. And if you would, join me for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for the invocation, please. Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, Lord, and we just ask that as we come together here today to do the business of the county, that you would be with us. We ask, Lord, that you would guide us, that you would guard us, that you would direct this meeting, and that any decisions that are made and any discussions that are held, that they would be in accordance to your will. And we just ask this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay, could we get a roll call, Kelly?
Commissioner Day,
Present.
Commissioner Kanda,
Here.
Commissioner Flower,
Present.
and Clerk to the Board, Kelly Kanda, present.
Okay, and Rich, we'll start with you for the audience introductions. We're doing introductions right now, sorry.
Just say hi and your name.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, Rich.
Rich Smith, County Sheriff. Josh Winfield with the Conservation District.
Wyatt Butler, the airport manager.
Anthony Wheeler, citizen.
And we have Jordan Benson on the equipment back here. And I think we have a couple online, so if anyone goes to speak later, if they could identify themselves for the record, I'd greatly appreciate it. Any amendments to the agenda?
None from me.
Excellent. Dorothy is traveling. She was wanting to go ahead and call in on her report, but asked if she could be moved up on the agenda. I think I would like to maybe move her up right after Rich, if that's agreeable with you gentlemen.
You're online now.
She was gonna call in. She isn't online yet. I told her if I got her moved, it would be about 9:30. I didn't have any objection.
No, so may happen sooner than.
If so, I'll make sure and we'll get her called. All right. So if we could move planning and zoning between the sheriff and finance HR. Okay. And we don't have any minutes. Commissioner items, Commissioner Kanda.
Nothing major since our last meeting, other than the good news that I got was what I think Clyde's gonna report on a little bit. Engineers finally decided they'd give us another option on where to locate the fuel tank for the Jet A. Looks pretty good to me. A good idea. We'll see what they say about it in the meeting.
All right. Mr. Flower.
No, sir.
I'll just report, I'm meeting with great Bill.
There's a lot of bills around here. I
Fire
found
chief
that out.
Florence Fire Protection District, Bill Ritter. There's a Bill Simmons on the board down there, and he's
Bill's
popped
everywhere.
into my head, so
Bill
my
Donnelly.
apologies, Bill Donnelly. I'm meeting with Bill Ritter tonight when I go down to the Florence Fire Department. Vernon has printed me off that GIS map. Have a couple of tweaks that we need to make, so I'm got a couple copies that we can just sit down and pencil in and make the changes in together.
Good.
And then I'll bring that back to Vernon. so that we can continue moving forward with that. So still making some progress on that front. And it's probably about it for me this morning as well. So I guess we don't have an attorney online, and Kelly has stepped out. Do we have any public comment at this time? Don't see anybody online either. So that will take us to our staff reports. So now, Rich, you're the first one up.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Betcha. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Meeting
Thank you,
adjourned.
sir.
Oh, Kelly, we're.
Oh, I guess before we do get to this one, I do have another, and now you can go ahead. We did neglect to get our consideration of hiring a VSO
I noticed that.
on today's
Thought it was
agenda,
on
so that has been added to tomorrow's agenda. So just an announcement on that, especially if those gentlemen are.
I assumed that was the case.
So, and then my apologies, that falls on me. I did not catch that we didn't get it on the agenda today, so.
And I'm assuming it'll get reposted for 1 o'clock
It's already been done.
with the change.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And Dorothy is on, so.
Good.
All right, sir, go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me. I have a few statistics from the sheriff's office. And I'll start with this 4th of July weekend. We were very busy on, well, starting off on Saturday, we had 23 calls, Sunday 31, Monday 30. And then yesterday, remarkably, was low with only 20 calls. And there were 2 fireworks calls. I know people were concerned about that. Our arrests and transports for the month of June, we had 5 arrests and 6 transports. And again, the transports are done by our all volunteer posse. And those are significantly lower than we had projected on taking people to Fremont County.
Hey, just real quick, did Silver Cliff do their fireworks that they were gonna do?
There was a fireworks show
Yeah,
in Silver Cliff last night.
Yeah, that's what I knew that people were asking,
Yeah.
and I kept saying there was. I just
And
hoped
it lasted
that
about an
wasn't-
hour, so they did a good job on that.
Yeah, good.
I had a small one in Wetmore, but I didn't call it.
And then the overall crime stats are actually remarkably low for this last quarter. The crime calls were down in June from 23 crimes down to 15, so it's a 35% reduction. And for the quarter, crime is down 42%. And our traffic tickets is the only thing that's up, and it's up roughly 20%. And then
What kind of offensive, Rich? Are they speeding or are they just
speeding and stop signs are the 2
rolling
most
through the
common.
signs?
Right. Yeah. And the Westcliff Town Board had complained specifically about the stop sign on Bassett Place. And so we've been patrolling that area more heavily. And then our last meeting, you guys asked me to talk about a risk management picture, and our risk provider, CTSI, has 50 sheriff's offices that they provide services for, including Custer, the smaller ones. And he's in the process, the risk manager, of meeting with all 50 of those. And when he came here, his biggest highlight was the reduction in liability by outsourcing the jail to Fremont County. And something else that he liked was our shifts, or 10-hour shifts. And typically when you have people work more, like 12 or 13 or 14, they start making more mistakes. And so he liked that we were at the 10-hour shift, the 4-day work week for the deputies. We also specifically asked about we do a training here called arrest, control, and defensive tactics. And so that is, the training is designed for deputy and posse members to protect themselves if they get assaulted by a suspect, and then how to take that person into a position where they can be safely handcuffed. And so we have a system that's been in place for many years and it's older, and we're switching to a new system. And we actually, one of our deputies, Greg Reed, just graduated from the instructor school for that. And the risk manager is familiar with that program and is happy that that's the one we're going through. And so these injuries that we've had in these a variety of training things were not with the new system, they're with the old system. And one way we can further reduce the injuries is by increasing our fitness level before we begin wrestling around.
Yeah, you had said he was meeting with you after he came over here and met with us, so yeah, sounds like that was a productive meeting.
Very good.
Yes.
And then the one thing he asked about going forward that he's recommending to all the sheriff's office is we are required by state law to have body cameras recording interactions with people. And then he asked that we upgrade our system to also include dash cams that are mounted in the police cars. And so I reached out to our provider, which is called Axon, to see what that would cost to add a dash cam to each particular car.
How many cars?
Like 15.
It'll be expensive.
Yeah. And then the trick is they sell you the dash cam, but then they sell you the storage of the number of megabytes that the video adds up to.
Just like the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You keep paying for it.
You do.
Otherwise, you could go to Walmart and buy a dash cam.
Right, yeah. No, the state law is very specific on how long you have to record it, and there has to be a security thing. So what the system that it'd match our taser body cameras and our tasers and also our new holsters. And so if a deputy pulls their gun out of their holster, the camera automatically turns on if it wasn't. If the deputy turns the flashing lights on the car, it turns the body cam if it already wasn't.
That's good.
And then if you turn your taser on, it also turns the body cam on.
So the dash cams would not be on all the time. Only say if he activated the lights and siren or something,
And
or he could manually activate.
he
that
can
dash
manually
cam.
activate it. And then it also, and you can set it up for 30 seconds or 1 minute. So the thing is actually always recording. And then if there was a crash, it would remember the 30 seconds before or a minute based on that.
Pretty low.
So it's always recording, but not storing
Exactly
unless
right.
it's activated.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty easy for old John to come down and make these recommendations, but he didn't.
He doesn't have to pay for it.
If he brought a checkbook with him, it'd be a little different deal.
Any other questions?
Just a comment, I can personally attest to the effectiveness of the sheriff's vehicles sitting out here on the highway over the weekend. I saw numerous people get on their brakes, as they saw that pickup sitting there, so.
So one of our staff people who knows that we're parked to empty pickup, and we move a pickup around to a variety of trouble spots. And she said, I knew it was a decoy pickup, but she still slowed down every time she saw it. So
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
yeah,
Even if you're not speeding,
that's right.
you take your foot off the throttle
Right.
a little bit, so it's a natural reaction.
And I know he's been doing that out in Great Creek and other areas as well. That helps. Really does.
I suspect our neighbors to the south were more vigilant when they
I hope
come
they were.
blasting over the hill in town.
The town was full of people this weekend, so we need to be careful. One last thing is last year, the all volunteer posse donated 3,000 hours to the community, which is an incredible number. And just in the month of June, they donated 800 hours. So almost a third of what they did last year, just in the month of June. And we had started a new community service patrol. So posse members and or deputies are going to patrol every single neighborhood. And then they interact with the citizens when they drive through. And some people said, we've never seen a police car in our neighborhood. So it's like, oh, good, we're out there. So
So that's not including yesterday's festivities, because since you were speaking just to you.
yep. So for the yesterday's parade, we used every single posse member we have and to control traffic, and we set up a larger detour to try to move more cars through during the breaks that last an hour. And then after that was over, we took the mounted posse, they changed into their mounted posse uniforms and then did horse patrols, and the tourists love it. So cool.
Just don't start towing a cart around to give it rides.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It is.
You mentioned you had a letter you wanted us to consider that.
So I do have a letter that I would like to distribute to you and then come back and discuss at a later time, if that's all right. I don't have it on the agenda for today.
Thanks a bunch.
Okay, so we'll take an opportunity to read all this and then.
I'll come back and discuss it with you, if that's right.
Yeah.
This is a letter from around 18 months ago. We just got the letter this week, but it's an event that happened 18 months ago.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Have a good.
Take care. Have a good day. Be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch, Rich.
You betcha. And then when you go to Florence, we did have a medical call on Sunday in the Adobe Creek subdivision, which is north on 67.
Mhm.
And it's just a enormous amount of time for the ambulance here to get all the way down there. And the Florence ambulance is only,
They're only 10 minutes or
Yeah.
11 minutes away. And when that happens, Adobe Creek is part of what they are looking at taking on.
Good.
They will actually come up to the Smith subdivision just before we come into the hard
oh,
scrabble.
perfect.
So basically all of the houses on that side of the mountain, and they'll go North Creek as far as the intersection there at 386 and 387, right just past Bill Doney's house. And but that's one of the things we're looking at on that map. That is a long ways to go from up here,
Yeah.
and fully realize that. And they haven't taken us on yet, but they're about, things are moving that direction, so hopefully it'll happen quickly.
Anything I can do to help, I will.
All right, thanks.
You
I
betcha.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we did move planning and zoning up, and Dorothy, I believe you're on the line.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear us, Dorothy?
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry.
We can hear you.
I had you muted. Good morning. Just run through my report. We did a total of 10 septic inspections in the month of June. We had 7 special conferences, 4 violation reviews, and we administered 2 contractor tests. If you look at our total numbers for the month of June, we are down drastically, which really surprises me. Maybe that's an indication that the economy is slowing down, at least in our area. We had, compared to last year, we're down 11 septic permits. We did a total of 12. Our dwelling permits are down. We did 17 last year and only 2 this year in the month of June. So we're down 15. Our non-dwellings or the accessory permits of any kind are down 10. Last year we did 17 and only 7 this year for the month, which gives us our total. We're down 25 for the month of June compared to last year. Our year-to-date numbers are looking pretty consistent as to last year. So the septic permits, last year we did 71. This year we've done 75. The dwellings are dead on even with 62 for both last year and this year. Our non-dwellings are up slightly. So overall, our total zoning permits are up 7. So we're running consistent last year, but if it continues to decline, I'm sure that won't stay the same. Moving on to the financials. Our zoning permit fees, last year we were at $141,903. This year we're at $193,045. The septic permit fees, last year we were at $15,500 and this year we're at $22,310. Our use tax, last year we were at $68.06. So far for the year of 2023, we're at $150,692 for the year. So our total income last year compared to this year, we were at $17,000 875. This year we're at 15,575, and what falls under that is just all the miscellaneous. If somebody applies for a vacation of a lot line or an STR, anything, that all falls into that particular category. Our total income for the year compared to last year, we were at 175,346. And this year we're at 368,622. So we're looking good for the year. Hopefully it doesn't continue to slow down, but overall for June, we ended at 61,608, which is drastically lower. I believe, and I don't have it written down, I apologize. Last month was about 93,000. So it definitely shows the decline that we're seeing.
Okay.
Any questions?
Clarify that for the record.
So a couple of quick clarifications. I think you had us under the zoning permit fees for 2023. I think you said 193, and that should be $198,045. Is that correct?
Thank you. Yes, I just don't have the report right in front of me, but I apologize for that.
And then on the total income, it rather than 368, it's 386,622.50.
Yep, you got it. I'm a little off
All
this apparently.
Not a problem. Thank you. Anything else this morning that you have?
We are running into some issues with active STRs that are not permitted, and we're working through those. Just have some violations that we're following up on. For the most part, everything's running pretty smoothly. We have the additional part-time staff person in there, which is very helpful. We're able to get caught up in a lot of areas. That's really about it.
Good job. Thanks, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling in this morning.
Thank you for taking time out to go ahead and call in and give us that.
I appreciate
Enjoy.
it. Thank you. Everybody have a good day.
Thanks. Okay.
Treasurer, HR.
Now we'll go to finance HR.
You
don't look like Lisa.
No, I'm not.
Where's Lisa?
She's never given this report, so.
No, she gives the other one. See, there you go. I'm messing up. My humble apologies.
No,
sir.
that's all right. No, I understand who would be better to look at, so. That's- here's my printout here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So just running through here, based on the template that we started with last month, going through finances, budget versus actual report. That's the first page that you have here behind the report. Everything is pretty well within reason there. Revenues are above 50% and expenses for the most part are below 50%, which is right where we want to be. The only ones that are outstanding there would be conservation trust, lodging and tourism, and airport, which excuse me, we've discussed before about some of the bigger purchases that they've made or that have caused that to happen. So I think everything's looking good there, and we'll plan on having a second quarter, second half of the year
Budget
report this month. So that way we can go over and see exactly where we're at, how we're doing in a little bit more detailed fashion. So I'll be looking for a workshop date for us to discuss that. And I don't know if we want to try to set something up now while it's in front of us,
Okay.
probably towards the end of the month if we could.
On the 7th. Thursday.
Board of, is that our meeting? When they, our BOCC meeting day?
27th would be our month-end meeting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I've got.
For July
For July.
31st.
Monday.
Oh, yeah.
We got Monday, don't we?
We're used to looking at
30,
Thursday and not
Thursday,
rolling
yeah.
over to Monday, so they.
Yeah, Thursday would be great.
Is that too close to the meeting or not? Does it matter?
I don't think it matters. I think it's good to have it kind of as a separate time. That way we're not bogging down a meeting with it.
So I guess that's a good question in 27. A lot, shouldn't take too long to do it, but we need to do it.
Hmm.
I do it on the 27th either.
The 27th. That's the date we're talking about, right?
That's what I threw out.
Yeah.
Suggestion.
Does that work for you?
Mhm.
Why don't we put that in our calendars then for. Second, let me get it in, because if I do not,
9 o'clock,
Yes.
the time you prefer.
Yeah, 9 o'clock is as good a time as any to talk about numbers.
So. This is a generic question is, BOCC meetings that we have posted online, does it show the 31st? Or did it online?
No, it's not on there yet.
That's the problem we got, I guess. A lot of people keep asking for when our meetings. I do too.
It's on the calendar.
Yeah,
It's
so
online.
that's what I'm asking that.
Yes.
So that's my point is what I'm asking, not whether the agenda is posted.
Right. It's on
Okay.
the calendar.
Okay, and it's posted on the website.
Yes.
Okay. I have to go find it again.
Right.
Cause I
So,
forgot about it too.
Then on 9 o'clock, then on the 27th for that. Okay, appreciate it.
And you'll do this as a workshop.
Yeah, it's just a review.
Great. Any questions on finance? Not, we'll move on to insurance. This first part, workman's comp, is pretty similar to, there's not a report. We don't have a report for this. Pretty similar to what I reported on last month, where we've got 4 that are still from the training with the sheriff's office. And then we have 1 new one that was from Road and Bridge. And the notes that I have here are struck object. So I believe there was a hit to the head there or something like that. But I'm not totally sure. So that's the only new one on there. Otherwise, we've closed out 3 this month, which is good. And then cap claims, you do have an attachment for this one. This is the exact same as last month as well. So nothing new there. Questions on insurance? No, we'll move right into human resources. Current number of employees went up just a little bit. So we hired 2 people this last month. Patrick Hines for Road and Bridge. He's a new operator out there. And then Jennifer Creep for the OEM assistant. And we terminated two people this last month as well.
So what's the total? What are the total active then?
94. It's on that report.
Which I couldn't, the report I had was, on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I buried it too soon.
Gotcha.
All right. And how many vacancies do we have? Is it on there too?
We don't currently have a list of vacancies.
Do we
It's
have
not
any
something
idea?
that our county's ever had. So
We don't know if there's any positions that we've already had job descriptions on that are sitting there vacant. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
And apparently we're happy with being undermanned.
I guess so. That's not something that's
Something
ever
we
been
need to look
directed,
into
so.
here because.
Yeah.
We need to know where we can allocate resources for more people for road graders or for human resources
Yeah.
somewhere or for wherever.
Yeah, completely agree. That's something that I've been working on, but that's not something that's ever been done so far.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, all right, so I'll look forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Only thing there with HR is that, so we have 2 open investigations there. And then just some other notes. there's a Mount Carmel partnership discussion that I'll be sending out to you, trying to schedule with you all. And I noticed this morning, I hadn't had a chance to look at it, but that I got something from someone from Mount Carmel trying to get us all together to talk about what that partnership could look like. And for those that aren't familiar with this is something that Jared got the ball rolling on when he was here. And we donated $10,000, which was matched by Kirkpatrick Bank to Mount Carmel in Pueblo. And it sounds like because of that, or in conjunction with that they're going to try to send out an employee to actually work in the area that will focus specifically on helping veterans with services. And so we'll have to see exactly what the extent of that is, if that'll be a full-time employee, if we'll need to house that employee, or kind of what that looks like. But those are some of the things that have been discussed a little bit there, which I think is an exciting prospect to bring somebody that's focused on services and to help alleviate the VSO a little bit there. So
Yeah, it's a little bit of an issue in that you're working a reallocation of people in different office space. So where are we going to house them? It's going to be an issue.
Yeah, and
make it work.
when I did that, I actually
VSO.
accounted for that. So there should be plenty of space for at least 2 people over in the VSO office.
And I've been getting hit calls from veterans saying they know we don't have one yet. When's it coming? And where's it going to be? Where's the office going to be? So we got to get the word out.
Yeah. Were you able to tell them where it was?
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
they're going to jail.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and actually they've got currently where finance, HR is, IT, and the small IT office. So however they want to
They
set
need
that
to
up.
figure out how to handle it.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get in there and organize it.
So
So technically, actually 4 rooms, if you count the jails, cells, it's 1 Lisa's office.
Yep.
And then the 2 in IT.
correct. Yeah, so I think that will be a good amount of room, and as well as like storage, the basement in the administrative building will be a good place for storage still, if they need anything over there.
I'm assuming Bob McLaughlin's the one that's trying to reach out to everybody. He told me he would try to get a date put together to have everybody meet. He may have asked somebody else to do it on his behalf. I have no idea. I haven't seen anything from him.
I haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I received something from a Leslie Abrams,
Oh, okay.
and trying to get Bob McLaughlin, Sal Katz, and the 3 commissioners together for a Zoom call. And she has 1, 2, 5 dates listed here, and I'll forward that.
She included us all in it.
No, that was just to me. So I will send that to you all, and you guys can let me know what dates would work best, then I can send that over to her.
Mhm.
Kind of speaking on the moving office spaces piece, I didn't have that on here, but something I wanted to give an update on. Spoke with Vernon about that. Monday, this Tuesday holiday's throwing me off a little bit, but spoke with him on Monday as far as like what it would take. I think the best thing is going to be to move this room first over to the administration building. And then start moving like the copier and stuff down from top floor, moving Chris over to the current copy room upstairs. And then IT will be able to move things. So as they need to, they're not able to do anything this Friday. But my thought is maybe we could look at moving this area on Friday or so of this week, which then would allow IT to do things the following Friday. And hopefully that would be before a VSO would get in, and that would, but if they were to come in before that, we could certainly make that work still. And given that we have the mid-month meeting next week, we won't be using this room for that. So it gives us a little bit of leeway to
Right.
get things moved over.
We want to start tomorrow or Friday.
Probably, if that works out, I'll start doing some of my office and stuff, probably this Friday.
And I'll get in there and get this taken care of. These probably those bookcases.
Okay.
Quick question about that. I was thinking about this over the weekend. What would you guys think about removing that mop sink out of that meeting?
Don't really need to be in there.
I don't believe there is either, you know, it was in there, so I built a little half wall around it just to keep people from stumbling over it, but I'm not sure it really needs to be there. I think it would certainly free up some foot traffic and
Don't know
Yeah, I
enough
think-
about the history of that building, have no idea what it was there for.
if you don't have any objections to that, I would move forward with trying to get that out of there before we start moving everything.
We need to ask our maintenance guys to do that.
That'd be great.
Is that our job or yours?
That'd be one less thing.
Is that something
Yeah.
you want to get in contact with them or you
Yeah,
want
that's
us
part of
to? Okay,
I was gonna bring this up. I told Ace that they're on the card
Mhm.
and they were doing the paperwork today
okay,
or Monday. They may have done some on Monday, but they've been in there to get stuff already.
okay.
And so are you gonna issue them a card? They're gonna just go to Ace and say, I'm on the account, but if they need it, otherwise, what are you doing with that card with Chris?
As far as just a specifically,
A card or not,
um,
them to use.
well, we haven't talked about, I don't think we should be giving a non-employee a card, a credit card.
That's what I'm
So-
asking. They need some way to charge an account though.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
gotta
so
figure something out.
I think Ace will work and then they can submit for reimbursements for anything that's not local.
If they go to Pueblo to pick up some pieces, I don't know, I'll have to look at what we authorized them, but they're gonna have to foot some of the bill. And I don't know how deep they were figuring they had the county. In other words, spot the county to do something, that
Yeah.
might be an issue, I'll have to talk to them.
Yeah, was there anything in the contract on that?
That's why I'm gonna look, that's why I was asking you, let you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't need to say anything from a county point of view to Ace, I don't believe. Because that was the commissioner telling them, so I don't think you have to do anything.
Right, yeah, I think that was all they needed. So, yep. Anything else on office movement, Mount Carmel?
I'm assuming all of these bookcases will be going over there. Right?
I would imagine.
No reason to have them in here.
Right,
And I will get back with you on about Friday.
Okay.
Need to check a couple of things.
okay. That sounds good. The only other thing is we originally had employee handbook on for this week to talk about and with everything else going on this week, figured it would be best to move that to next week. So still planning on hopefully getting an employee handbook. It's been presented, so approved at this point. And so if there's any questions on that, I've not heard any, but just I've sent it out to all the staff, at least all to the department heads for them to give to their staff. And have had some comments back, which I'm addressing but if there's anything else that you all come up with.
You give
before
them
then-
the same copy we have.
Correct, yep.
You want that on the agenda for the 12th?
Yes, if we could.
I believe it already is.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay,
None from
very
me.
much. Appreciate the time.
Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Later, Gator.
We'll see ya.
Want that one back? No. it's all good.
Running hard. We didn't get real quick.
Yeah,
Right
ready?
on time.
We're ready for you. All right, bye.
We're headed for it.
We actually are by 5 minutes.
Even more than that, because we did plan and zoning already.
That's good.
Luckily Clyde's here.
Don't expect me to save the day.
You
I
may.
do have nothing but good news this time.
Maybe we can get Virginia to talk slow.
Are you going too fast?
No, we're
That's
not.
probably a matter of opinion. So do I ask the question?
I don't care. I don't have an answer. I just can't tell you.
I guess just to ask the question, I will, because the first column and the last column
Match.
actually match at the, on the totals.
Well, even
which they-
across.
Even across they do.
Across they do,
Mhm.
and
So I don't know.
that's
Don't
something.
screw up
that-
again.
that is
I'm not
something
sure.
that generally does not happen.
No, it doesn't. And I'm not sure,
Maybe it's screwed up.
since they had that hiccup, if there's something wrong. I haven't had a chance to really look into it yet.
So.
It
Anyhow,
would be nice if that's what it's saying, that they were balanced.
So who do you ask?
I have to ask CIC.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because that, when we had that time we were
Could have
down,
reset everything. to be-
yeah, I just don't know. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to really look into it yet.
it may be everything's just catching up to itself and.
Yeah.
And making everything come out right, or. But
It's just odd. Is all I got to say. Makes
So
me
the-
question it.
so since you brought it to my attention earlier, I had to ask the question. Anybody else have any questions?
For the balance. Beginning,
Is the same as the end on,
right, $7,291,000 bucks.
Mhm.
And that tells us we have $7,991,000 bucks.
no, you don't. All you have is that 4,000 or 4,636,162.
We need to figure it out. Interesting.
That's what I thought. And I'll get an answer for you as soon as I find one.
Okay, so we won't sign this one today.
We won't.
We shouldn't sign something that we don't know is real. I believe,
Yeah, we know it's not accurate, correct?
right? We can't sign up to having $7 million bucks and she just told us we don't.
No, you always
I know,
never
I
have
know we have the balance.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know. I came in this morning and printed that up, fixed it and printed it up and,
Did Braden know this?
no, I haven't, like I said,
Okay,
he's the only one I talked to because nobody else was here this morning and,
well, he's the right guy. He's a finance guy, so-
yeah, he wouldn't have anything to do with this.
but he does with CIC.
But I would have to.
Right.
With CIC.
Yeah, that's right.
Not Braden. Braden wouldn't have anything to do with this.
I get it.
Two totally different arms.
Mhm.
So everything on here, do you believe is correct except for the ending balance?
Can't say.
That's a good question. What I did was I went across and subtracted and added the ending balance is what it should be, not, I'm not looking at the balance, the beginning balance.
Oh, okay.
I just added and subtracted across, and that's what it should be.
Math is doing it.
So your
Mhm.
right-hand balance you think is accurate?
Right.
Okay.
I just don't think
The
this-
beginning
the
balance.
beginning
Okay.
balance is
I
right.
thought it was the other way around.
I did too.
I don't have a problem with moving the document excluding the beginning balance. Because that's informational, right? The rest
Yeah,
of it's
everything,
fact.
is- yeah.
So I would move to approve a report excluding the beginning balance for May.
I'll second it if that's the case.
And I can always bring it to you when I find out what's going on.
Okay.
Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to approve the monthly treasurer's report for May. Sorry, I had to
Look,
because we're so far, it
It's
always
behind,
comes in
yeah.
slow, so. In the, excluding the beginning balance. And that would be on the ending balance is $7,291,350.40. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Okay. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 good night.
Thank you very much.
I will let you know when we anticipate revenue from a couple grants.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't sent the reimbursements out yet, but I will.
Mm-hmm.
You later.
You didn't talk long enough. Okay, so that will take us to the extension office.
She is not here.
She's not here. Okay.
She said her or Caitlin, either one would be here,
Mm,
but she sent the report. She told me.
Okay.
It's in there.
That's good. There it is.
Thing I can attest to is that they have been very busy on the fair and she's been working hard on it. Everything's going good there. What she says is up to speed.
Okay.
Would have asked her a question about that emergency preparedness. I'm not sure if when she says our new director, if she means OEM director or who, but
That's what she is referring to, is that they don't know what their role, that's what I gleaned from what she said before, but I don't know either.
I'm going to accept. Or
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to accept the report from the Custer County Extension Office.
Report and
Uh,
questions.
Any further discussion?
Nope, none here.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have 272 entries for fair. We have done planning and zoning. That will take us to the airport. You get to change chairs.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Welcome to the hard seat.
It's contoured though.
Thanks. Well, for the record, I'm Clyde Butler, the airport manager. I'll go through the simple boring stuff first. For the month of June, our fuel sales were only 290 gallons and 6 tenths. And that's a revenue of only $1,800.16. We did take a 3,995 gallon delivery of F-gas, 100 low lead.
Say that number again. 3,900.
3,995 gallons.
Excuse me for just a second. I was trying to find your report
Not
here.
on there.
Got there.
Don't have.
Okay, never mind then. Go ahead.
And the total fuel we have on hand now is 4,864 gallons.
And the reason for the low sales is most likely the weather.
No, sir,
What else would
I'm
it be?
absolutely sure that the low sales were due to our high price.
Yeah, that's what.
And we have tried to address that.
current price out there now is?
Current price today is $5.35. That's down 90 cents from the last time.
And so was that full on board for all of June, or are we not seeing the effect of it going down 90 cents?
We are starting to see the effect. The thing that's slowing it down though is ForeFlight and AvFlight both only update their fuel prices once a week. And ForeFlight was supposed to have updated on Tuesday, but yesterday being the 4th, I don't know if they did or not.
Okay, so for everybody's information, ForeFlight and what was the other?
Yep, ForeFlight is the,
And
yeah,
they, these are websites and applications that pilots go to and every airport, information on every airport, including price of fuel.
that's true.
And every pilot that flies is just as frugal as they can be,
That's right.
and they'll divert 50 miles or more to go to a lower price.
That's part of cross-country flight planning is find a cheap fuel.
And that's why they always info Clyde and the board chairman what to update it.
And so the price now, this 535 went into effect after you got this new load of fuel.
Yeah.
Because then you were able to average that out and drop that fuel price, correct?
Yes, sir. On the 29th of June, we set the fuel price at $5.35.
Yeah.
And that's because we being able to buy in larger quantities, like 4,000 gallons at a time, gives us a pretty good price break. So we were able to go down quite a bit on our price.
Yeah, and we still need to keep working with the towns to capitalize on that and maybe subsidize $500 a month or something. And that's still, I've talked to each mayor about it. We need to get Brian and you to go and follow through.
Okay, I'll talk with Brian about that. What's the new fuel tank and dispensing system was certified on the 12th by the state of Colorado on the 12th of June. We took delivery of 3,995 gallons of low lead on the 19th of June for a total cost of $19,396.85, which gives us a per gallon cost of $4.85.
That's good.
That includes all the state taxes and everything. And then we were able to place our new tank and dispensing system into service on the 29th of June. We did it.
Got it running, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
finally.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Everybody pulling up there and drinking it with no problems.
Well, there have been no problems with the dispensing system. Everything's working
And
fine.
the tanks and let it go. So good.
Yeah, we didn't sell any cheap fuel in June. The 29th and the 30th, we had no customers. But again, the price,
See what it goes.
word wasn't out that the price had gone down yet. We did have, we've had a few sales so far in July. And as soon as the word gets out, I'm sure it'll increase.
Let us know at some point. Comparative what we've got now with the new price, 535, and what our surrounding areas are, including the springs, and
Okay, I can do
that way
that.
we can see it. Because we may think of sometimes.
Yeah. I'll make a list of everything.
You said something that piqued my interest a little bit, so I'll ask you about it. As a county, we're paying tax on this fuel.
Yes, the state and the federal government both charge a little bit of tax on it. It's very little, but there is some tax.
Interesting.
Mhm.
It's the taxes that collected by the state and the federal government are both supposed to be used to support aviation. That's part of where the grants come from that we get. Just continuing preparations for the Air Fest this year. It's scheduled for August 12th. And just one other thing I'd like to mention. I don't know if all of you gentlemen received a picture copy of this.
I don't think so. I did. This is just a proposal from, I mentioned it to you guys this morning. They
Right,
picked
this
the
is-
site for the Jet A.
To the Jet A tank.
Yeah, they haven't had a chance to digest it yet. So,
Armstrong, we had a meeting on the 27th of June, 2 representatives from Armstrong Engineering, 2 from CDOT, Brian Anderson, and myself, and Bob Jolly. And we discussed where we could put the jet fuel tank that would require the least amount of expense to build. What was going to cost so much was when you're paving, putting in more pavement to support a 50,000-pound airplane, it takes a lot
asphalt.
yeah, a lot of asphalt. So one of the people from Armstrong came up with the idea of placing the tank right off the taxiway entering into the ramp. And that looks like a good option.
It really surprised me too. It's a great option. And I'll forward, I'll forward that picture to you guys so you
Or
can
you
see it.
can make copies.
We make copies of it. We'll pass it around.
Thank you.
And then all the asphalt that's required is to making the apron bigger on the tie down side, which is not a lot of heavy traffic. It's just way the aircraft.
Right.
And there's plenty of room for the taxi around the airplanes that are fueling. That's a great option.
And it's far enough away from that hangar not to be an issue.
Yes, we could, if it becomes an issue, we could move it a little bit further to the west, but that would require more paving.
And that's trade, but and it might be better to have it anyway.
Yeah.
So something that's why it's not decided. You guys are gonna be discussing that.
Right. This is not 100% guarantee we're going to do it this way.
No,
This is
just
the best option
they're
we've
the
found
most,
so far.
and we don't even know really the cost of that yet.
No, Armstrong is still,
They understand
Trying
they're
to
under a
get-
bogey here that they
Yeah.
can't break.
they're trying to get more bids.
I guess you've seen it.
I've seen. Pass it around. As well.
Anyone else want to see it?
It was the whole Jet A thing in the budget this year, airport budget.
Yes, we received a grant that you guys know about and the state matched the grant. And we're trying to find a way to make that amount of
It's
money,
gotta stay within, that's
Yeah.
when I said
Yeah.
bogey,
trying to stay within that budget.
and they actually upped it for us because they knew that this was gonna cost more than what they originally thought. And they allowed us another 50K, I think it was.
That helps them.
It really did, and it stuck them at a $450,000 limit. And so that's pretty good.
They don't want to run on a gravel surface to get over there to that thing.
Say that again,
They
Not
don't-
gravel.
They don't want to run on a gravel
No.
surface.
gravel is extremely bad for jet engines.
And all aircraft, actually.
Yeah, it's not good for any aircraft, but especially jets. You can run a $4 or $5 million engine just like that. One
Takes
little
one.
I don't have any other questions. It's pretty. Oh, I do have one. What about the crack seal? What are we doing now?
Oh, Armstrong is still trying to get the company that has agreed to
To do
crack
it?
seal to do it.
Okay, and it's a scheduling thing now. They know they're under the gun to get it done by the 12th.
Yes, they do. But Armstrong hasn't given us a date yet. They've given us several dates in the
I know
past.
Brian's gotten after him pretty hard.
He has. In fact, he said he was going to start contacting them.
Needs to
at
call
least weekly.
PMI and Armstrong together. PMI is the company that's gonna do it. Out of Salida, so it's not that hard.
Mhm.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it'd be that big a deal.
No,
Not like they're coming from Kentucky.
no. So I'll talk to Brian if he needs me to call him.
Anything you can do to speed them up, I'd appreciate it.
I wouldn't hurt.
Right.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you, sir.
I think we're good.
Thank you, and thank you guys for supporting the airport.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Clyde.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, I think if, agreeable with you gentlemen, I think I would call a short recess.
Agreed.
Okay with me.
All right. We will have a short recess and reconvene in we'll say 10 after.
I do not believe that Brian is gonna be here. Recycling said he was gonna be here. But if one of you guys has a number of him, you might tell him, might try to get a hold of him when we're running ahead of time.
Give his number, I think, don't you?
I don't know that I can.
And I don't think Vince is gonna be here either.
He's probably out on a blade. You'll
Yeah,
check.
they were they crack sealing
You might-
or not crack sealing,
Mag chlorine.
They're not chipping.
chipping.
Are they chipping?
I think they're chipping this week. I think.
I'll double check with Vince if you want to check with recycling and let them know we're running ahead.
If I have the number.
Okay, the time is now 10:12 a.m. on 7/5/2023. I will reconvene this meeting of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. The next item that we have for report would be the landfill report. Yeah. You get two or just one from me? Just the one. That's a good first statement in there, I believe. We can move into trench H, because G is almost at capacity, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just overflowing now.
yeah, oh, I don't know, maybe 40 yards on one pass and then one narrow strip down the south side and it's done.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions. This is a pretty good summer.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just mention that he's expecting about 6 months out of H,
Right.
and then he's also asking that we may need to do something so he can lease that.
Is that-
paper again. Okay. I don't have anything else on this. That would take us then to the recycling.
And we're running far ahead. I didn't have his number. Tom, do you have his number?
Oh, I didn't.
I'm calling it, you know.
See
If you
he's
don't
coming.
mind, if he's coming, we'll,
He said he was coming, so
He was?
I just didn't have a way to put him. I know.
And would you give us his numbers? Kevin and I have.
Sure.
I didn't write
and
it
then
down
we
last
can
time.
move him down on the agenda. And give him time to get here.
I don't think Vince is coming either. I'll go.
I
tell
did
Laura
talk to
that.
Vince and he's not coming.
Okay, I'll go tell Laura that.
Yeah, if you gotta get ready.
Then anybody know, was Robin gonna be coming in today as well? Or just a report?
No, she's not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Sure.
If you don't mind reaching out and checking.
I think she was doing. Just Jennifer, I'll call and see if that's still the case.
Okay.
Are you talking about Robin?
Yeah.
Robin's
So
coming.
she's gonna come.
Yes, and I sent her an email about 15 minutes ago telling her we were way ahead of.
Very good.
Now, whether she got that or not, I don't.
All right. Well, maybe when we get to just before Laura, you can maybe reach out to Bill if you want to, or if you want to now, that's fine as well.
Yeah.
to let 'em know we're way ahead of schedule.
Right.
See if I got that.
Yeah.
I haven't got anything back.
Oh. Thanks for that phone number, Tom.
Yeah.
I got here as soon as I could.
You're late.
I know.
How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah.
Bad wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day late.
Happy late Independence Day. Or something. Guess I have a bad wheel and it's not getting any better either. And now I can't even get my chair up. How are you guys this morning?
Good. You're doing well.
Well, good. You got my lovely report?
As usual.
Okay. That's good. I never know, sometimes they go through, sometimes they don't. So, I don't know, if you want to review them all, we can.
Tell us what's up that's different.
Nothing, not right now. We're staying pretty much the same. As far as these go. Let's look at the LEAP program is over for the year. So we did a total of 204 applications this year. And so I don't have really good dollar figure is that one at the bottom. It looks funky because of the total at the bottom of the number of households, but that's not really because it adds different households altogether. But that June of 204 was the last payment that they did, and they gave everybody an additional amount. So that one is actually the total household we serve. But at the bottom, that 165,000 there, that's actually what we actually was paid out to everybody. So that tells you what.
Pretty good chunk of change.
Pretty good chunk of change. Yep. We got a little additional money again from Community Service Block Grant. So that's been very helpful. So we've been able to help more people. We didn't do anybody in June, but I've got people already in July. Okay. She's coming up to do monitoring on July 19th. She's going to do Rotary and me on that day. Samantha and I think Audrey are going to be the ones doing it. They do it yearly. So we'll have to figure out. Anyhow, we'll get
Yeah, I don't know when our next board meeting.
I don't know either. I don't know. They don't have them very often, They don't have them very often. So,
It's supposed to be quarterly, so I'm assuming she'll.
okay, yeah. So,
Yeah,
anyhow,
she said they had a little extra money. So.
yeah, they did. And so they send it my way. And so I asked her a question about a week or so ago, and she wasn't sure on that because we've never had this come up. So she was going to get with Audrey and get back to me. And I told her there's no hurry. Haven't heard from her. So on the 19th, I know we're going to have a discussion about this because it is a little weird situation that we've never had before. So hopefully they're going to get it worked out and figure out what we're going to do. EOC, I only have $400 and some left. The program runs till the end of September, so we'll see if I get anybody. I've applied again, had put my application in already for next year benefits, and I haven't heard anything yet. That takes them a while to get back on that one. And then, but that's about what I've got going on right now. We're working on, we started taking people, but everybody that was locked in on Medicaid is starting to come off because the lock-in ended and starting in May. So we've done May and June. Now we're heading into July. And if people don't return their redetermination forms, it's just going to take them off. We've seen a few people drop off because of that. Some drop off because they're not eligible and they know they're not eligible anymore. So, but we have some people that we're going to have this month for sure that we're going to have people questioning and wanting to know why, and it's going to be a little bit more. And we have a lot more application and redeterminations this month. So we'll see what happens. But I think that's where we're at right now. I have it's core services program that we get an allocation for, and we have to do this yearly. And it's due July 31st, and we're working on it now, but we don't have it done. So I probably need to meet. When do you guys meet? The last of July,
31st.
the 31st. It has to be in by the 31st. But I could may need to meet with you that day. We could review it, sign it, and then I email it to them. Or I can meet with you sometime in your monthly meeting to have it looked at.
whatever you guys want to do.
We meet 12th down in Wetmore.
Down in Wetmore, I thought it would be a Wetmore.
It's a beautiful area, Wetmore.
I know, I was down. I just want you to know when I was there for that last meeting, I froze to death in that building. I just want you to know. We were,
We can probably knock it out that.
yeah, it's like it's
31st.
cold.
Review it, sign it, email, it has to be mail postmarked that day, right?
Well, I can email it to them.
Oh, you can.
I can email it.
So,
You don't have to do it.
31st would be
Yeah, I can email it that day. So, yeah, and I mean, I can, it won't take very long for us to review it. I'll get it to you, ahead of time.
190 some pages.
No, and we worked on it. Alexis, who's been out, on sick leave, was back in on Monday. So she worked on it, her and I worked on it, and then realized that I didn't realize she was using, they sent us a new template. She missed that and was using the new template. And it's different. So then she saw it, she goes, oh gosh. So now she's trying to make sure, and she wanted to review a bunch of stuff, and so we just don't have it done. If we're still working on it. So I don't want her, it may be better if we just wait till the 31st. I don't know how long you guys are here today, if we get it done. Are you here all day? No,
Don't let our schedule get in your way.
no, I won't. Of course I won't. So we can do it on the 31st. Because I don't think it would
If
take
we've
that.
got it, if you guys have it sent to us before the.
Oh, we'll have it. Oh, we'll have it.
Here as long to.
Right,
do
and
it.
we'll have it sent to you before the 31st, and then you can review it. And then any questions that you have, we can go over that day, and I can't see it taking more than 10-15 minutes, 10 minutes. Yeah, okay, is that okay? You want to get us on the agenda for that day?
Sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
What do you want, Dad?
Consideration of.
it's core services, their core services, this is allocation,
For services allocation.
or,
All caps and core, right?
yeah. Yeah, and
And all
then
we need is to understand it.
I know what even core services is, and basically what core services is, it's our child welfare.
Yeah.
So we get money to, to do in-home services, so that we don't end up picking up kids or something like that. So we have these different program areas, and so they give us so much funding for it, and if we're not going to use it in this area, we can use it over here and stuff. So, but we can explain it better then. Okay, so that's what it's about. It's our child welfare stuff. Okay.
And you'll send that to me too when you send it to them.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'll send it to you. Well, do you want me to send it to you and you send it out to
I can
them?
do that.
Okay, let's do it that way. Okay, so when we get that done, we'll send it to you guys. And maybe you want me to send it, not like if we get it done tomorrow, if you want it tomorrow, if you want me to wait closer to the end of the middle of the month and send it to you, whatever you want me to do.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Very good. Thank you.
That's all I got.
Great. I met your counterpart up in Lake County. You can see SBG,
Oh, who
Public Health Director.
was it?
Lake, oh, I can't think of her name.
Oh, okay. Oh, but
She was at.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, and I can't remember what her name is. No,
I don't think you were in the room either when we talked about it, because we were up at that meeting, but they missed you up there.
I know they did, and I got
Where the heck you been?
I got a,
You're Key person.
I got an email, I got an email from the director in El Paso County. He used to be the director in Fremont County. Asking me if I was gonna come, because we haven't seen each other for a while. And I said, not right now. I got a person out of the office because Alexis was gone and we were just hammered, so no, I'm not gonna make that, so.
But the real point is, you make a difference and.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate what Custer County does. And that's
Well,
what
yeah.
Came across. in the
Oh, good.
discussion.
Well, thank you, guys. Okay,
Take it, see ya.
okay, we'll see you later.
Mhm.
Bye.
Send a text to both Jennifer and Robin, but haven't heard.
Yeah, I did too. And I called them there and I got Robin's.
Road and Bridge,
No,
we know is not coming, correct?
Yeah, so we can go to the road and bridge report and look at that, and then I have a note on that as well. So let's go ahead and go to road and bridge, landfill. on that, today they're actually patching, I believe, out on Copper Gulch, getting ready for chip seal. So chip seal will take place Monday and Tuesday. Is when that is scheduled. That would be barring any bad weather to postpone that. So my apologies, that's on Colfax. I stated Copper Gulch, but Colfax. Copper Gulch, they went out there and pulled some of those ditches and they actually narrowed that road up some. And then they put some new gravel on that.
There he is.
Any questions on that report at all?
Nope, but I got a request. Pass along. When you see Vince, up on Bear Basin area, on top of the Hosey Flats, the cattle guards opposite, going past Ziegler's place, and around there's 4 of them. First of all, somebody stole all the cow signs, so warning people, so there's a sort of a dangerous thing, so he needs to figure out how to replace all the cattle warnings. Open grazing up there. And that's one issue. The other one is the cattle guards all need welding on, especially the aprons coming on, or the bars that angle down from the side to keep them from
The wings.
the wings is what I'm looking for. And pretty well broken off in some places, and one's pretty dangerous, and that one's sticking up out of the ground somewhere, he said. And the other issue is there's a big hole going into one of them that's axle braking, according to some, you know how they are. They don't like it if it's rough, but
Some of them that are 30-mile-an-hour.
well, that's right.
roads, that's.
He says that, he says,
axle breaker.
and then really what the bigger complaint then is, not from him necessarily, but there's all the traffic's boneyard parking up in there. I don't know what he used for a road base on top of it, but it's putting a lot of white dust, new dust out, and I don't know where they're getting that road base, where they just did a big job.
From out here.
That's what I thought it was
It's
here.
ours.
And it does produce a whiter powder dust like it does all over the valley wherever we use it. But anyway, compared, I don't know whether it was mag chloride before, I think it was, and they got, I don't know whether it's planning on doing it. It makes it so bad that people are having to stop, like, you know, it's like a fog bank, you can't see where you're going. So anyway, just to let Vince know, and I don't know what his plan is on
That's when
mag
it
chloride.
regularly gets magged.
I know it's
because it is a high traffic.
That's right, and when that's because of I told him there's nothing we can do about the trucks coming out of, I forget which company's pulling up out of there all the time. But he was saying that mag chloride really works, and it's the speeding has not been the issue, but it's just making dust.
Yeah, so I'll repeat all that back to you here in just a second.
We can, or you can wait till after the meeting. I just wanted
So,
that way you get.
I got all 4 guards there coming off the highway. And if somebody stole the cow crossing signs, the wings on, at least part of the wings are needing welded.
Yeah, they're pretty bad shape sometimes.
And they may already be on the list.
Oh, and one is completely loaded with dirt, and it's not a cow, it's not any guarding. It never got hosed down. The guard's gone,
Are there cows in there?
not yet, he's just worried about it.
So
Losing a couple.
usually if they get filled up and whoever's getting ready to put cows in will coordinate that with Vince.
Yeah,
To
I
make
don't
sure
know,
it's
that's
clean
what-
before they put anything in, because that's usually
I
standard.
think maybe that's
operating
why Ziegler brought it up. I was talking about to Gary about a lot of other things.
Oh, okay. And if you do talk to him again, tell him to get a hold of Vince.
Yeah, he has, he knows.
If he's putting stock in there, they usually coordinate directly with the supervisor.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
cow
yeah,
crossing signs are gone, the wings are needing welding and one hole.
Yeah.
And
Just curious on the mag chloride.
and the dust. Okay. Yeah, I'll visit with it. Anything else? Anything from you, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, that will take care of road and bridge. Moving right up the list. I guess then you can go to recycling.
Good morning, Mr. Tim. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good, thanks for
Thank
coming
you for
in.
coming in earlier.
See you, Tim.
Sure. Good to see you. Good. Did everybody receive a copy of my report?
I did.
Okay.
We do have that in front of us.
Okay. Okay, we're ready?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I guess we have an official mission statement. It's official now, so CCR, Custer County Recycle's primary mission is to extend the limited life of the county landfill by providing waste diversion and recovery through recycling services. This includes the operation of a sustainable Custer County owned and operated material recovery facility, or MRF. We've continued normal operations without issues since the last report of June 1st. Steve Wilkerson continues to do an excellent job as recycling operator. The trusses for the bell barn are now in place and the roof is being installed. Completion is expected by the end of July. We are currently utilizing it for the storage of bales from protection from the elements. Construction of the CCR office continues to progress. The concrete is expected to be poured very soon. Framing of the walls and roof construction will follow. Let's see. On June 23rd, we received an approval announcement for a grant in the amount of $1,562 from the Department of Local Affairs and the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments. These funds are specifically targeted for the construction of the CCR office roof. We are planning a one-year anniversary event for CCR, which will be on July 28th. And I'd personally like to invite all of you gentlemen to that. We'll have
11 to 1.
11 to 1.
July 28.
Correct. And we will have food, drink, and hopefully music as well.
28, what time was that?
11 to 1.
All right.
We are continuing, Steve and I are continuing to work on safety rules and training procedures, and we are offering training, active training on Wednesday and Friday mornings for our volunteers. Processing statistics. We've processed 145 bales of all material year to date. 30 bales were produced in May. That was a record number, and we broke that in June. We produced 34, and that's across the board, all materials. Vast majority of that is obviously cardboard. We produced 104 bales year to date on cardboard. 21 were produced in May, and 26 were produced in June, which is a new record for us. We have approximately 20 bales on hand right now at the facility. We sold 33 bales, approximately 39,600 pounds, were sold and shipped through Centennial Recycling out of Denver at $50 per ton to Republic Paperboard in Lawton, Oklahoma. This would generate approximately 1,000 in revenue. Mixed paper, 23 bales produced year to date, 5 produced in May, 4 produced in June. We have approximately 33 bales on hand, and we have a pending sale on that. We're scheduling the sale and shipment of 33 of those bales through Centennial. The price is to be determined. I usually get a price list, possibly today or tomorrow. It's usually at the beginning of the month, or the 5th or the 6th of the month. Let's see, aluminum, 8 bales produced year to date, 2 bales produced in May, 4 bales produced in June. We have 1 bale on hand. On June 13th, CCR sold and shipped 8 bales of aluminum to Denisio's Metal and Iron in Pueblo. The sale generated $2,108. Steel, 7 bales produced year to date, 2 bales produced in May, 1 bale produced in June, 2 bales on hand at the facility. On June 13th, CCR sold and shipped 4 bales of steel to Denisio's Metal and Iron. The sale generated $214.50 in revenue. Let's see, moving on to revenue. Year to date, $8,334.70 in material sales, all material sales. June total, cardboard $1,000, that's an approximation. Aluminum $2,108, steel $214.50. With the pending sale that I mentioned before of 33 bales of mixed paper, price to be determined. Grant revenue, we had an RREO grant rebate award that came in June for $50,048.78. And the aforementioned DOLA UAACOG grant award in the amount of $1,562. Our volunteers, like always, I can't say enough about them. They're vital to everything we do out there, and they're doing a fantastic job. Total volunteer hours, we had 17 participating in May. We had 13 participating in June, 280 hours year to date, 56 in May, 42 in June.
56, oh. All right, I had April and June here on our report.
And I will say we've had cancellations on both sides. So on Tuesday, where we normally have volunteers, we've had a few cancellations there, just for various reasons. So the hours did go down a little bit, but we have a lot of volunteers that are back here for the summer, and a lot of people helping out. So I actually expect that to go up this month. And that's what I've got.
Quick question, if I may.
Yes, sir.
No, I see you raising your hand.
No, I was just saying, good job. Thank you. I didn't have any question.
On all these where you say it generated X dollars in revenue, that would be your gross revenue, not taking into account any of the operating costs or anything like that, correct? That's just what your shipment generated. That's a check that came in for that.
Correct. Well, with the now with the cardboard, well, actually, that is what's expected after transportation cost and everything is put in. So our broker from Denver, with the cardboard and the mixed paper, that is a figure that's given after everything is figured in.
Okay.
So, and the reason the cardboard is approximate is because it has to be weighed and it takes some time. So we get weights here before we ship out, but it doesn't become official until they weigh it at the destination. So.
Okay.
Prices we get quoted are net after shipping.
Yes.
And the quoted revenue on the steel and aluminum is the actual amount of the sale.
Inocio, do they come pick that up or are you guys following that?
No, it's been hauled to them, so.
Oh, I got,
Good, Ken, thanks.
Okay,
Very good, sir. Thank you for coming in.
okay.
yes, sir.
Thank you, commissioners.
See you next time.
Okay, yes, sir.
You'll be out there this afternoon?
Yes, I'm going right now.
I'll see you.
Okay, thank you.
And has anybody heard back from Robin?
Yeah, Jennifer's right back there. You can ask her personally. I think she's
When
representing.
did
her.
you walk in? I didn't even see him.
See, she,
So apparently we have,
real quick, we forget.
I've been. So Robin went to a CERT conference and sat next to somebody and hung out with somebody that was positive for COVID.
Oh.
So she's at her house and I think she thought it was today or tomorrow, not today.
Oh,
So I figured I have a report and I could give it to y'all.
That's why.
You may do that. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I haven't laid eyes on you.
So I need your
Since
new
we started.
phone number because I texted you and called and today, just a little while ago.
I
So think,
responded back.
To Kelly.
Huh.
But what number?
The 371-488.
37148.
83, I believe. It's the same one as Bill Christie.
371. I didn't use that one. All I had for you was your home one and your old
Yeah.
number.
So, I've been at this job now 4 days. And Robin has been at a CERT conference. And so she did a great job of putting together the report before she left. So EMPG, Custer completed their EOP, their emergency operating plan, which you all have signed off on. She has been going to all of the different entities, the town of Silver Cliff, town of West Cliff, Round Mountain Water, to get them to write resolutions and approve the plan as well. We did meet the deadline for EOP and got that in. So we're doing good there. That is, so EOP in force until 2026 and meets the requirements for 50% match in salary and training, conferences, etc. EMPG provides the OEM budget assistance. Next quarterly report is written July 10th. I actually just met with Christy Coleman to go over how to do that. And get working on that. Working on redrafting the grant application with further documentation for $39,000. The grant is a short project, and this is a short project for. We've got all of that out. This is the special grant, and we have our to-do list. As soon as we get word that we've received it, then we're going to start ordering it. And those are the things that are the EOP or EOC in a box. So the supplies, the radios, the generator. So assuming we get approval, we should have that by the end of the month. And then we have to have it spent by October. So it's really fast. HSGS, we're also looking at must fit into the soft target category. We don't have any word yet if we've got the cybersecurity grant and training. We attended training for the salamander credentialing and badging inventory. We're going to be buying more license and supplies for the system. In the meantime, you all can get your badges at the sheriff's office. So if there were an emergency, or even if we don't, we can actually credential you. And we're going to be working on processes to make sure that everybody gets credentialed. We also did a ICS-EOC training down in Wetmore. It was a really good exercise, I mean, a good class. And we are sending the girls, the folks down there in what did you call it? The Kingdom.
Yeah.
A big thank you, because we were able to use their facilities and it was super nice. And we had over 20 that turned out. And so that really does help with getting training in our county, is when we have people who show up. And we were thrilled to see Rich Smith, Braden, Laura Lockhart, Jordan Benson, Cliff Brown, and myself, as well as Robin, in attendance from our county. So you can get an idea of, it wasn't just us. And we are coming up with a training plan for me. There are things that the grant requires that I have within the first year. I have about half of them done already, but then we're going to get those moving forward. Activities. We integrated preparedness plan training exercise that was submitted. Robin went to a ham operator club, and I thought, ham operator, but it's amazing how, if we can get those folks involved, how great of an asset this will be if we ever have an emergency. We attended a Rotary potluck, met with Jackie Crabtree of the school district, and we had an inaugural Custer County Public Information Group meeting on June 12th. Participation was sparse, was not much, but we shared information and discussed the mission of the group. Assisted getting ambulances through the construction on Highway 96 and CDOT. There was a house fire. They're continuing to have issues whenever they're trying to go up 96 for any kind of emergency because of the one-lane traffic. So Robin has been working directly, trying to get a better plan when there's an emergency. And I was hired as of June 23rd as the assistant deputy OEM, and Robin had a meeting with the FreeCom director, Angie Clausen, to discuss OEM during emergencies, and Robin attended the CERT conference. So forecast, we have our running shoes on, because hospital meeting, town of Westcliff, town of Silver Cliff, Round Mountain Water. We will be attending a radio training in La Junta, July 25th and 26th. CES and LEPC will finish orientation on the new EOP plan. And we are hosting the first ESF 5 meeting in August 2023 at the SAR building. We're preparing for the county audit, doing a simulation of an EOC and setting it up in an offsite facility to test equipment, hosting an American Red Cross meeting with ESF 6 partners, and working more with Salamander badging and credentialing. And we're creating policies and procedures for the Office of OEM to make sure that they are complying with the purchasing processes and policies of the county.
Take a breath and I'll ask you a question here.
Yeah.
Okay, radio, all caps, is that an acronym or?
It's actually RADO, and it's a thing by Amanda Twillinger through the state. And I
It
think
doesn't mean radio, it just means.
and it is for radio training. So That's anyway, that's what it is. It's radio training. It's 2 days. We will be learning how to best utilize all of the different radio systems that OEM has.
And since we're on acronyms, go ahead and hit on ESF 5 and ESF 6.
So ESF 5 is an emergency something function. Do you like my something? Emergency services function, and that is information and planning. And then ESF 6 is with healthcare and being able to help people. So ESF 6, we want to pull in people from Red Cross, from Human Services, from public health. So then if there were an event where people are displaced, then we have the ability to get them the help that they need.
On that, so
Go ahead. Oh, you say you.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
for one, we miss you.
Well, you do.
Good to see you. You
Good
look
to see
nice.
you. Thank you.
Certainly want to offer you an opportunity to become re-involved with this office on Friday when we start moving this office over to the new administration.
Man, if you would have told me.
You're booked up.
I'm sorry. This Friday, I'm going to the Bluegrass Festival and we'll be there all weekend. I'm sorry. Any other questions?
We miss you, but we need your labor.
Well, we, with the salamander, I'm creating some processes. I'm really excited about this because if we have it set up correctly, I will be able to see everything that you have, all of your training and background experience, all within a card. We have the ability to do accountability. It's been there, we've had it, but we're learning that it has not been used to its fullest potential. The next step would be in inventorying. And I know you're sitting here thinking, man, inventorying, but we're not just thinking OEM, we're thinking countywide, to help with everything. Vernon is really excited because he could literally say this Dell computer was assigned to Tom on this date. And then whenever it comes back, can say, hey, it was in working order. So it has a lot of great things. And then on an emergency, we can take a phone and just be like, dude, all right, this is assigned to you, bring it back. It's really big with our really expensive equipment that we loan out.
Well, and it's also accountability, who's in an area, who's not.
Correct.
And I think I mentioned it to Robin, but I know my card for my commissioner card is actually expired in January.
Yes.
My Wetmore Fire has an issue date, but it did not have an expiration date.
And those are things that we've learned that we need to make sure that we're getting updated. So on Friday, I spent about an hour with the corporate person from Salamander, and he started going over some of, there were some things that needed to be more streamlined in the program that would fit Custer County. So.
Vernon, get your contacts.
Not
Which
yet.
do we need to get?
I know. I'm gonna go over and ask him if he can just send me a CVS file or a Google file. So
Good, you enjoying it?
don't know yet. Robin was funny and said, hey, you can get a lot of training while I'm in training. And then gave me a to-do list.
Yeah.
So been going through getting those done, and it'll be interesting. So it's a different pace than y'all.
Yeah, I'm sure it's much better.
Different,
Sorry.
different,
Okay.
different. Anything
Thank
else?
you for coming over.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
not a problem. Robin did not want to infect anybody today.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, she just
Sure.
wanted to be cautious.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. See you later.
Thanks.
Thank
See you next trip.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to us. Have a good day.
See ya. Well, one less person to help move, sounds like, gosh darn it.
I guess so.
It's worth an effort.
It was. Okay, we have no unfinished business on our agenda. We do have one item of new business on the agenda. And that would be the consideration of letter of support for the Conservation District Wildfire and Pond Grant. I did read that letter before. Everyone neglected to stop me at that time, just seeing if I could read it all in one sentence.
It read real well.
If you guys would like it reread, I can, or,
I don't think it's necessary.
He's here, so that
Robert's online too, so.
so, and you're here for this.
I was gonna answer any questions since I'm here. Robert is on Zoom and I was prepared to talk about everything.
If you would like to speak to it, or either one of you, feel free to come on up now and,
I think Robert's gonna take the lead on it. So, yeah.
okay. Can you hear us, Robert?
You bet. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you for having me on the agenda. What this is we have been running a irrigation infrastructure assessment program for the last year, and it is scheduled to end about the end of this year. And we would like to continue because it has been effective and it will be ongoing. In addition, we have identified a couple of other areas that are needing our attention and assistance. And so we have applied for another grant to carry into those, continue what we're doing with the irrigation infrastructure and carry into the two other areas, which I'd like to highlight. One area that is needing attention is wildfire, but not from the direction that you're probably thinking. It's from the direction of our landowners who have irrigation water rights. In event of wildfire on the West Range primarily, we don't really know, are they prepared for debris flow and some of the other, we'll call it negatives? Probably not, but it's an unquantified area. There's been a little bit of experience in the county, obviously from the Junkins fire and from the Duckett Creek fire. But both of those are somewhat different from what the average would be, say, a fire in South or North Colony drainage. So there have been some other work done, I believe, over around Gunnison. It may or may not apply for us again. So anyway, we need to research that, need to do the best we can to figure out where things are and how we can help those irrigators. Again, we don't know whether it's like the first 5 head gates or if it's all of the head gates all clear down into the Grape Creek, actually onto Grape Creek. We don't know that. So there's a lot of learning to be done, but we think that's valuable and should be done. The other item that we would like to tackle is illegal ponds. And I know that the three of you have some experience with that. I'm sure you've been blamed at least once or twice for letters going out that you need to fill your pond in, et cetera. And we have been in contact, as I'm sure you have, with Division 2. Division 2 is very open to working with us to develop a pilot program for how to administrate this pond issue. It's not that we're the answer to the program. It is that we have technical resources available to us that can help. We have the ability to be impartial and bring people together. We also have the ability to bring, maybe help bring some grant monies into this, because it appears that solutions are not as cut and dried as Division Two originally thought. So Josh who is administering and actively implementing our current irrigation infrastructure grant, and he would be the gentleman that would carry forward on this new grant. So we are looking for your signature on a letter of support. I know you're familiar with that process, and you have a copy of that letter, as does Kelly. And then, as you know, we, as a special district, do not have taxing authority. So our match share of this grant is actually equal to our entire income for 1 year, which is $8,000. So we are hoping that you would be willing to add a line item to your 2024 budget of $4,000. And we're hoping maybe for 2025, you would extend that line item and really help us out with this, because, you know, $8,000 is all we have for income, and we use almost all of it just to operate for a calendar year. So we would appreciate your support. We think that this will be quite beneficial to a segment of the county, or of the landowners in the county, that I'm not going to say they're ignored, but it is of value to them. And in turn, it may be of quite a bit of value to the rest of the county as well. With that, both Josh and I are available to answer any questions that you've got. And if you need any more details, we would be happy to detail things for you.
Thank you, sir. Anything else you want to add to that, or just before we have questions? Sorry.
I'm just open any questions you have. Yeah.
Okay. I'll speak to your second point now. So your ask for the 2024 budget would actually come during budget season. I guess I would mention that you might keep that on your calendar or something and bring that to us when we're going through our budget process, so that we don't let you slip through the cracks and not address that one way or the other. Because probably here today, we couldn't tell you, yeah, we're going to put 4,000 in our budget next year for you. And this is Kevin Day speaking, by the way.
Thank you. We'll keep that on our calendar.
Yeah.
So a question, this assessment, do you anticipate they'll do some modeling, computer modeling on the debris flow, or are they just going to come up and physically walk all those tributaries and structures, or what do you think that would involve?
I'll take that.
Go ahead, Josh.
So we put together, since we started this project, it was brand new in Custer County. We just started last June, got hired on in July, was kind of creating this stuff, reached out to other conservation districts, and was solely focusing on assessments, irrigation infrastructure assessment, looking at ditches, waterways, tributaries, diversion structures, things that were put in back in, early 1900s, and coming up with better ways to make the water flow more efficient and conserve more water, pushing more water to Grape Creek and ultimately downstream, while at the same time trying to turn on some of the more junior rights and stuff like that going forward by collecting data points, showing that we were making progress. Since then, we've currently done 12 irrigation assessments and kind of developed a rubric for that and graded them all and such. And then from there, we have got quotes on what it was going to take to get those projects done, and now I've reached out and started to apply for grant, whether state, federal, or private grant money to fund those projects. With the contract itself of my current position only being set and allocated for 18 months, that runs out December of this year. Looking at the benefit that we've done so far, we started looking at other avenues and ways that we could, help Custer County in a whole and look at. I knew one of the biggest things was ponds, because it's poorly managed with that system being, hey, filling your pond, but at the same time, that has second and third order effects. Whether it's through the natural habitat, whether it's through creating a 2.5 acre pond just turned 20 acres into marshland, which all of it evaporates into the sky and none of it makes it to the creek. Anyways, we started looking at things like that. I brought this up with the Division of Natural Resources, Rachel, the Division 2 engineer, and she thought it was a great idea. And I was like, hey, through grant money, could you pay to have some of these ponds augmented by the upper arc? By your grant money or finding grant money, could we put tile systems in here where they don't want the pond there and they can get another 2.5 acres of a hayable ground? So she thought it was a great idea, and that was a manageable way to basically make everything more efficient, continue to maintain the natural habitat, that whether it's for wildlife or whatever, and at the same time help out with the agricultural farmland in the area for people for hay and other livestock wells and stuff like that. So that's kind of how the whole project in itself. And then with the wildfire stuff like that, going back to the irrigation assessment, we originally were going to hire an engineering firm to come out and look at the irrigation, give us a plan. But each time they came out, for one day, it was going to be $5,000 for them to come out, do AutoCAD drawings, to do elevations, surveying, and then develop us a plan and say, this is how to do it better. Well, with myself being a prior civil engineer, Phil Brink with the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, working in agricultural irrigation for over 30 plus years, and Rob Fontaine, who is a civil engineer, USDA, and works with the USDA NRCS office. We actually developed our own team for free, just brought us all together, and we started doing that. And that's what we would carry over. We started doing all the assessments, the AutoCADs, the drawings, our recommendations. So that 3-man team, which we've already created, would carry over and to identify the high risk areas for wildfire with sediment that could flow in, block up all the irrigation and stuff like we've seen over in Wetmore on the Hardscrabble Creek there. I've seen it there and then up in Gunnison areas. So that's kind of the team we put together to identify those things and come across. And
I think down there, probably the first year was more of the debris.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the first or second year, it turned into all the sand.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I've talked with Fred Smith and David Smith and Stephanie Smith all about that. And actually I've gone out there and looked at some of their irrigation infrastructure stuff and just and historically got that same thing from them to learn about it.
Bill Donnelly struggled with it up there
Yep.
in his fields as well. And actually bought him a little mini X to kind of keep his head gate open.
But just being able to identify and using case studies like that would help us narrow down and pinpoint the areas of concern through the creeks that come through in the event there happened to be a large scale wildfire and the second and third order effects that wouldn't just affect the habitat or the topography. It would affect people's way of life possibly by blocking and creating serious damage through the blockage of the waterways and tributaries.
What's the total grant amount for 2024 that you're seeking?
The total one, Robert, I don't have that in front of me. Do you have that by chance?
I don't have it pulled
It
up.
was less than $100,000, which funds the whole project for 2 years. And we've already actually applied for that. And we sent it up through the Colorado Conservation Water Board. 1 July was the cutoff for that. So Phil Brink, we've already written the grant. We actually QC'd it with the head grant approver through 2 weeks ago. We had a face-to-face Zoom call, and we actually went over our entire grant to make sure we were in the the higher rankings to see what we could do with basically flood control on our behalf. So we had got some really good feedback, made those corrections, and there wasn't very many at all. So the letter of supports that we're actively seeking are going to be over the next 3 to 4 weeks. We didn't have to have those submitted with our grant. So the grant's already in right now. And we're going to combine those by the third or fourth week of July and combine those all together and submit it there from everybody from the Division of National Resources, hopefully the board and commissioners here and some other folks to help us fund this program.
All I have.
Well,
Okay,
I would move we authorize the chairman to sign the letter for the irrigation assessment grant.
second,
okay, so I have a motion on the floor to authorize my signature on a letter of support. For the, how did you state that, sir?
Well, I
I
said
could
the
say the Custer County,
irrigation assessment project.
they
but
they
it's gotta
titled it
be
Custer
retitled.
County Conservation District Assessment and Outreach Project.
would you, is that your,
Fine, yeah.
okay, so I have a motion on the floor then to approve my signature on Custer County Conservation District Assessment and Outreach Project Support Letter. Any further discussion?
None here.
Or anything from the room?
Robert, can you get me, this is Kelly, can you get me the amount on that grant and just email it to me?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Anything else? Nothing from the room. I'm not seeing any hands online. Okay, those in favor of signing the support letter for the Custer County Conservation District Assessment and Outreach Project, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
All
That motion carries.
well, thank you, Josh, for being there.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Pleasure being
Good
here.
luck. Yeah, hang in there.
Pleasure.
Good job.
I think
Thank you, sir.
I can hope your job stays up. You only got a few months left.
that's right.
Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
You bet, Bob. Thanks for being on. There you go.
Okay. Are there any other additional items of business today, gentlemen?
Just a quick follow-up. What's gonna happen to that letter? We're gonna send that back to
I'll
Bob. Did
email
you
it
get
to Bob.
And he'll send it in. Okay.
Did you hear the answer to that, Bob?
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, we still-
Nice to it.
Yes, I
Kelly.
certainly did.
Okay. So
Thank
you're- All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right, that takes us to public comment. So if anyone has anything they'd like to address at this time, please feel free.
Ann Bardsford. A minor point and realizing the restructuring and the moving around at the VSO office, there's several items on the walls that were given by different groups. And I want to make sure the memorial flag that several women did had in the American Legion Memorial Parade. If they don't want it, they're going to get rid of things. We'd like to make sure we get it back.
Okay,
Yeah, I think all that stuff out of there will come over here.
It'd be nice if it does, but just in case, I want to make it known.
Space.
It's got all the vet names of family members for those people
Yeah. I've
and
seen
the
it.
wars that they served in.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anything online? I'm not seeing anything there. That being the case, I will adjourn this meeting at 11:16 a.m.